Hello, my wonderful students. Welcome to another interesting topic. Make sure you have your notes and pen to jot down the important points, remove every form of distraction, and listen attentively. Sit back and enjoy the class. In today's lesson, we are going to study the topic Theory of Demand 3 and Theory of Supply 1. Exceptional or abnormal demand curves. This is a demand pattern which does not abide by the laws of demand and therefore gives rise to the reverse of the basic laws of demand. In exceptional demand, when price increases and quantity demanded also increases, the curve slopes upwards from left to right, indicating that as the price of a commodity increases, the quantity demanded also increases, and vice versa. This is shown in the diagram. Normal demand curve. The basic or normal demand states that all things being equal, the higher the price, the lower the quantity of goods that will be demanded. A typical or normal demand curve slopes downwards from left to right, showing that the quantity of a commodity demanded increases as price decreases, and the quantity of a commodity demanded decreases as price increases. But abnormal or exceptional demand curve slopes upwards from left to right. Reasons or causes of exceptional demand curve. 1. Inferior or given goods. These are goods whose demand falls as the income of the consumers increases, and the demand for such goods will rise when income of the consumers fall. Given goods are named after Sir Robert Giffin of England, and the fall in the prices of inferior goods don't always tend to increase in the quantity demanded. Examples of given goods are cassava, fufu, or akpu, etc. Articles of necessity. These are goods that must be essentially consumed by individuals. Some goods are essential or compulsory for human existence because their absence makes life impossible. Therefore, because of the essential nature of such goods to human existence and sustenance, consumers will still buy more quantities of those products even when their prices are high. Examples are salt, palm oil, pepper, firewood, kerosene, etc. Articles of ostentation. Ostentatious goods are luxury goods which are very expensive in terms of price and which are only consumed by a group of individuals regarded as rich or very wealthy. These goods have perceived value. These commodities are valued more and demanded more at higher prices. Despite their high prices, people still buy them just because such individuals are regarded as high class. Examples are expensive jewelry, cars, etc. Expectation of future rise in price. People tend to demand more of a commodity at high price if they expect that the price of such commodity will rise more in future. This is a very common thing at the beginning of months like December and April due to Christmas and Easter seasons. Also, the months of September or week of resumption of schools witness increasing prices of textbooks. Parents buy in large quantity of textbooks. Ignorance of reduced prices. Some consumers lack good information about the different markets where goods or commodities are sold at reduced or lower prices. They buy existing ones at high prices. Some consumers, especially the rich ones, don't bother to go around the market to check prices of goods at different shops before they buy their goods. The ignorance of lower prices somewhere else makes them to buy a larger quantity. 6. Epidemic or war period. When there is war in a region or between countries, war equipment like guns, bombs, nuclear warheads, and other sophisticated war equipment are demanded more even though their prices are rising. Also, during the period of epidemics, there is an increased demand for drugs in spite of continuous rise in their prices. 7. Rare commodities. People tend to buy more of some rare and unique commodities such as antique furniture at higher prices. These commodities that are rare and not easy to come by are ascribed as elements of uniqueness and high social value if their prices are high. Antique furniture are old or outdated furniture. They are still valuable and people still demand them very much. Change in demand. This is a change that occurs as a result of a change in certain factors like income, population, new technology tastes, price of other goods, etc. that affect demand. This causes the demand curve to shift from one position to another, either outward or inward. A shift or change in demand is determined by other factors affecting demand except the price of the commodity. So it is a change that occurs as a result of a change in certain factors. Two divisions of changes in demand. 1. Increase in demand. When there is an increase in demand, the demand curve will shift to the right. At the old price, more of the commodity will be purchased. An increase in demand is brought about by a favorable change in factors affecting demand other than the price of the commodity. For example, the arrow in the diagram is pointing to the right, meaning increase in demand. 2. Decrease in demand. When there is a decrease in demand, the demand curve will shift to the left, indicating that at the old price, less of the commodity is being purchased. A decrease in demand is brought about by an unfavorable changes in any of the factors affecting demand except the price of the commodity. In the diagram, the demand curve shifted from D2 to D1 at the same price of 20 naira of the commodity. Change in quantity demanded. It is a change that occurs as a result of a change in the price of a commodity, and it involves a movement along the same demand curve, either upward or downward. The cause of the change in quantity demanded is due to change in the price of the commodity under consideration. The quantity of commodity demanded changes with price. More goods are bought at lower price than at a higher price. Types of change in quantity demanded. 1. Increase in the quantity demanded. There is an increase in the quantity demanded as long as the quantity purchased increases as a result of a decrease in the price of the commodity. Increase in the quantity demanded is shown in the diagram. Also in the diagram, a decrease in the price of a commodity P2 to P1 brought about an increase in the quantity purchased from Q2 to Q1. 2. Decrease in the quantity demanded. In this case, there is a decrease in the quantity demanded if the quantity of the commodity purchased decreases as a result of an increase in price. In the diagram, an increase in the price of commodity from 30 to 50 naira brought about a decrease in the quantity purchased from 6 to 4 units. The price definition of supply. Supply may be defined as the quantity of a commodity which a producer is willing and able to offer for sale at a particular price and at a particular period of time. In other words, the supply of a commodity is that quantity which a producer is willing and able to sell at a given price over a period of time. So supply is very necessary. Difference between total production output and supply. Supply is not the same thing as the total production output. Production output is total quantity of goods produced in a given period. Supply simply refers only to the part of the total production actually offered for sale at the ruling market price and at a particular time. That is the quantity the producer brought to the market for sale at a given period of time. Effective supply. Effective supply is the quantity the producer brought to the market for sale at a given price and at a period of time. It also refers to only the part of the total production actually offered for sale at the ruling market price at a particular time. For example, if a farmer produces 300 tubers of yam and offers 250 to market for sale, the producer's effective supply are those 250 tubers of yam he offered for sale in the market. Law of supply. The law of supply states that all things being equal, the higher the price, the higher the quantity of goods that will be supplied. Or the lower the price, the lower the quantity of commodity that will be supplied. This implies that when price of a commodity is high, more quantity of the commodity will be supplied by the producer and vice versa. When the price of a commodity is low, less quantity will be supplied. Supply schedule. Supply schedule can be defined as a table showing the relationship between price and the quantity of that commodity supplied. In other words, supply schedule is a table which shows the different quantities of a commodity which would be supplied at various prices and at particular time. It is a schedule involving relationship between price and the quantity of that commodity supplied. Types of supply schedule. We have two types of supply schedule. One, individual supply schedule. This is a table which shows the different quantities of a commodity which a producer offers for sale at various prices and at a particular time. For example, Mr. Smith is a farmer who supplies several bags of rice at various prices. This is shown in the table. The supply schedule shows the relationship between the various prices of bags of rice and the quantity supplied. Market supply schedule. Market supply schedule is a schedule of all producers or suppliers of a commodity in a market. In other words, a market supply schedule is a table which shows the total quantity of commodity which all producers of that commodity are willing and able to supply at various prices at a particular period of time. This table is an example of market supply schedule. It is a combination of all the individual producers in the market. Supply curve. Supply curve is a graph showing the relationship between price and the quantity of that commodity supplied. In other words, a supply curve can be defined as a graphic or diagrammatic representation of a supply schedule. A supply curve is derived from a supply schedule. This is shown in the example. Then we have two types of supply schedule. Individual supply schedule. The diagram shows an individual supply curve. It shows a farmer's individual supply curve. A farmer's individual supply curve is illustrated with a diagram or graph. As a rule and in accordance with the law of supply, supply curve normally slopes upwards from right to left, which shows that at a higher price, a higher quantity of commodity will be offered for sale, and also at a lower price. Market supply schedule. Market supply curve is illustrated in this graph or diagram. Supply curve normally slopes upwards from right to left, which shows that at a higher price, a higher quantity of commodity will be offered for sale, and also at a lower price, a small quantity will be supplied to the market. For example, at the price of $1, only 5 bags of rice was supplied for sale. 4 laws of demand and supply. The following are the 4 laws of demand and supply. 1. The lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. 2. The higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. 3. The lower the price, the lower the quantity supplied. 4. The higher the price, the higher the quantity supplied. This is a summary of the laws of demand and supply. Hope you have enjoyed the class. Thanks for watching. See you in the next class.